is going on, Guardians? I wanted to make a video because I started pondering something based on the current population of the game. I started pondering and wondering where Guardians are actually playing because I went and looked around throughout the week to see where I could find Guardians. And honestly, some places I found them, other places I just found the sound of wind because there was nothing there and nothing happened. So today I wanted to make a video to cover that. I wanted to make a video to cover where we can actually find players playing the game right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is going on, Guardians? We are back again with this video to talk about player population and where we can actually find the biggest player density within Destiny. We're going to break this down into 3 tiers, 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to start at the bottom and work our way up to the top. Now, right off the bat, player data shows a notable 24% dip in momentum following the midweek reset. But, engagement remains concentrated in a few key hot spots. So here's a list of the current activities ranked from least played to most played. And we're going to once again bounce that in through tiers. And we're going to start off with tier 3, which is going to be your low engagement, niche, or legacy location events. So right off the bat, legacy rituals. Dares of Eternity, Blindwell, Tumbleweeds. You're not going to find very many players there. And if you do, it is going to be primarily used by newer players for the new light onboarding or veteran players that are just seeking specific legacy red borders or just going in there to grind catalysts or just because they love the event. They're going to be barren. It's going to be a barren wasteland. There's not going to be a lot there. There's no point unless you just enjoy the activity and you've got a full team of friends. I mean, I've gone back and played all the raids in Deep 1. Why? Because they were fun. If that's something you want to do, enjoy it. Next is, well, we all knew this was going to be on this list, and that's Gambit. Let's be honest, Gambit is stagnant. Participation usually hits right around reset. People are getting in to, cash out on any possible things that they need or challenges, drops, or anything along the lines that they're still chasing. There's no real reason for you to go into Gambit at this point. And if you want to, maybe you're one of the faithful that keeps playing because numbers are showing on popularity report that we're looking at around 2,500 to 3,000 players at most. Shocking. I figured it'd be closer to the hundreds, but you guys do love to torture yourself with your dredging 13s and 14s. I don't know, man. I'm not that big of a masochist. I just can't do it. Next up, we're going to get into Crucible hardware playlists. This is a niche activity, the no ability sanctuary, medieval hardware, bows, glaives, swords only, in a fun diversion. Yeah, it's cool. But the lack of supers, the lack of the real consistency of what Destiny is really makes this a very low Guardian player count area. So you're going to find a little bit more of your faithful, your purists, the people that just I don't want to do that. Think of more along Titanfall in your pilot only battles. There wasn't really a lot of people there because you played Titanfall to be in a Titan. Shocking. Let's move on to tier 2. Now, these are going to be your moderate engagements, your specialized grinds. These activities are currently stable. They're populated by core veteran players, and you're looking at approximately like 10 to 20% of your player base is going to be found in these activities. And right off the bat, there it is, the thing we all hate the most, the portal. A lot of us played the shit out of this over the last 9. We're tired of it. We're tired of the same activities. We're tired of the same strikes, the same stuff. So a lot of activity really isn't taking place there. Think of kind of the outskirts of the Destiny world. There's people crossing through. There's people getting what they need to and moving on. You're not finding players in this activity base like you were. And this is obviously a very bad sign for Bungie. So, after a dip last week due to the tier 5 difficulty complaints and the participation is somewhat stabilized, though, from, the final combat telemetry chasing that was being done for Arms Week. So we'll see if it stays consistent or not. But right now, 10 to 20%, it's what it is. It's what you can expect out of it. Next, we got, obviously, is going to be Warlord's Rune with Dungeon. So you have a high-intensity last call. The Fallen Torches solo community challenge technically ended on February 3rd, but players are still running in to polish off remaining triumphs for the event and just get everything else taken care of. It's a really cool dungeon. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it when it was hot. I enjoyed going through and jamming it out with my buddies on the regular. So The fact that this is still kind of hot in the rotation and they threw something out there with us, I dig it. The next is going to be a raid. Shocking. Here we are, almost halfway through, and it's the Desert Perpetual. Now, this is Prestige in game, everybody. This is located obviously in the Auric Cloud, and it does remain the primary home for the hardcore 6-player community. This is the main raid right now. So you are obviously going to still find a large portion of your raiders in there. Although some people are still dipping into the older raid. You are finding people in, Forsaken's raid. You are finding people in Root. You are finding people in a lot of the other raids that have taken place within Destiny. And if you just enjoy raiding in this game, when you just want to go and have fun with your boys, have fun with your girls, have fun with your crew, it's a great place to go and do it. 6-player activity, unison, synergy. It's beautiful when it works. So it's shocking, though, that this was actually something that was so close to tier 1. Because right now, guys, tier 1 is stuff that we already knew. This is stuff that we were very much aware of. This is stuff where most of the things are going to be happening. And right off the bat, the top PvP mode, it's going to be trials. Now, it's obviously loot-driven intensity. People are chasing the Mart, the Void Pulse Rifle. It's back in the rotation on the Midtown map because the weapon is currently a top-tier PvP meta. The population spikes massively on the weekends. Geez, I wonder why. It is still pinnacle in-game content for PvP. So to see that it is still ranking that high, that it is still filtering up into the tier 1 aspect, I think is an overall very good thing for the game. Now, obviously, Arms Week just ended. We had it last week, the Bow Edition. A lot of people were chasing it. It was frenetic. As the event is wrapping up, players are rushing to Ada to get in there, to shooting range, to spend the combat telemetry on the King Orfeo bow. They want the Heron. They want the Glaive. They want all these different aspects, and Arms Week is going to bring in a little bit more of the player base. So you are going to typically find more people in some of these activities chasing the telemetry, chasing the options, and working through the weapons, and being just in the shooting range to practice, work on their damages, and get what they need to. Now, next, we're going to see a little bit more of where we're filtering some of our Gambit players from, and that's going to be the Lawless Frontier, because the invasion aspects of this, I do think, is a better version of what Gambit be. And I think if they really take some of the perks and some of the instances with this and not make it as much of a just people diving in from one side of the team to the other, although I will state I was very much against Gambit being 2 arenas side by side where you can actually see the other team going about their activity. A giant glass wall between you two while you guys are both doing the same thing, almost like looking to see where the hell they're doing. I thought that would have been a lot more fun and a lot more intense, but the way it is now with the Lawless Frontier and the invasions, I think this is a better overall process. So, you're getting the double invasions right now from the 3rd through the 10th. You're getting the ability to go in and get a little bit more of the resources, max out your factions, get in there, get your saber, get all your stuff taken care of, and get it, it all just wiped off. And I'm a checkbox guy. All right, I like to go through and I like to check box shit off, and I like to check my next shit off, and I like to check it, and then I don't like to have to worry about it again. That's part of my OCD and my ADHD when it comes to collection games and loot shooter games. You guys should see me in true open world games, man. I go nuts for that crap because I just get in there and I just geek shit out and I just start going for everything. But with having the ability to get in there and start knocking out a lot of these resources and a lot of the things that we can to just kind of wrap up what is Renegades while we wait for whatever the hell we're getting after Marathon. Who knows? So, you guys like it? Lawless Frontier right now is basically number 2 on this list. And here we go, guys. What is number 1? Gee, nobody saw this one coming, did we? Vanguard alerts and fire team ops. Why? Because we don't want to be in the mines. We don't want to be doing solos. We want to be playing with our friends. We want to be playing with other Guardians. And that's why I was doing videos like Rules of Striking, because this is where you're finding the majority of your player base right now, Guardians. You are finding the majority of your player base in Vanguard alerts. You're finding them in the arenas. You're finding them in the strikes. You're finding them in Crucible. You're finding them in the activities where they are going to get the most out of it. And thankfully, finally, we're getting the most out of it together, because in the end, that's what really matters with this game, man, is when the synergy from Guardians, the synergy where we work together. Sure, it's fun to do stuff on your own on occasion. Yeah, I liked to go back in the old day and roll the clock back on my PlayStation so I could chase strikes on. It was cool, but it was a choice. Being able to play through the strikes, being able to play through the battlegrounds, the events, the arenas with your friends. That's what this game is about. You guys might, we might make fun of Luke Smith, even though rumor is he's back for Destiny 3. That's curious. We'll see how this one goes. But in a sense, he was right. The end game of Destiny has really always been about friendship. It's about the people we meet and the moments we make together within this game. So getting out there, having the opportunity to do that, it's pretty clear cut why Vanguard alerts and fire team ops and everything within them is what's hot. Because that's what people want. That's why we play Destiny. We want the hero moments. We want the God moments. We want the power fantasy. We want to feel like we're bigger than we are because we've taken down gods. We've slain who knows how many emissaries, the darkness, the disciple. We keep laying waste to all of these things. We want to do these groups together. When Excision dropped and the fact that we had finally had a 12-player activity, people went nuts for this. Because think about it. That's what people have been asking for. Back when we were able to glitch the Nightfalls and get 6 people in there, that was epic. The raids doubling up, the events doubling up. It was what made it exciting. The more of us that they put together, the more fun we seem to have. So yeah, guys, this is the list. Do you agree? Do you think that this is a good list? Because this is where the population is sitting. This is where your fellow Guardians are playing and where I'm pretty sure those of you that are in Destiny can be found as well. Now, I know that the dungeons and the newer ones are out. Equilibrium, it was a fun one. I did a couple runs with my buddy. We two-manned it. It took a little longer in some of the damage phases that we would want it as I was playing around with some builds, but I think I got a fun one now. But as a whole, do you guys agree with this? What do you think? Where are you playing? Where do you find yourself playing on this list of priorities in Destiny right now? Do you find yourself playing in all these things? Do you find yourself playing in all these places? Have you partaken in Arms Week? Are you there grinding or are you just putting in the time you can and getting back to other games? There's a lot of good games on the horizon, everyone. So, especially if you're going to be playing Marathon. I mean, you never know. It could still be a good game. I know I've got a lot of people that are going to pop in the comment. No, it's not going to be a good game. This game is going to bomb. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to bomb, but I don't think it's going to be amazing. So, anyways, Guardians, I hope you're having a most excellent day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for paying attention to my list, and thank you for being a part of what I'm doing. And especially, thank you for being a part of the Destiny community. People like you tuning in, who keep playing, who keep putting in the time and effort. We're the ones that are going to carry this game through until it can get healed and it can get fixed and it can get right. So until the next time, Guardians, until you hear my voice again, I hope you guys are having a most excellent day, most excellent time, and wherever you find this video in the spectrum of time, I hope it finds you with a smile on your face and good times behind you and great times in front of you. Have a most excellent one.